Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Swami Samartha. Namaste friends. I am Dr. Shalaka Kulkarni. In today's session, we'll be learning about the basic concepts of the four pillars of Jyotish. In the previous session, we learned in brief about our zodiac, how the zodiac is divided into 27 nakshatras or asterisms, how the zodiac is also divided into 12 rashis or the zodiac signs. We learned that asterisms or nakshatras are fixed while 9 planets are constantly moving against the backdrop of nakshatras in their specific orbits around the sun. We also touched in brief about the 12 houses or Bhaavs of the birth chart. In this session, we will learn a little further about each of these pillars. If you are a serious learner of Jyotish, I would encourage you to take notes of the very basics of astrology in a notebook for future reference. You will have a very structured study of this great science. First, we will start with the first pillar, that is nakshatra or the constellations. This is a table in which I have mentioned the names of the first 9 nakshatras and their start and end degrees in a particular Rashi, along with the planets ruling each of the nakshatra. So let's begin. The first nakshatra is Ashwini. It starts at 0 degrees Aries and ends at 13 degrees 20 minutes in the sign of Aries. Ketu is a ruler of Ashwini. The second nakshatra is Bharani. It starts at 13 degrees 20 minutes in Aries and ends at 26 degrees 40 minutes in Aries. Venus rules the nakshatra of Bharani. The third nakshatra is Kritika. It starts at 26 degrees 40 minutes in Aries and ends at 10 degrees in Taurus. Sun is the ruler of Kritika. The fourth nakshatra is Rohini. It starts at 10 degrees in Taurus and ends at 23 degrees 20 minutes in Taurus. Moon is the ruler of Rohini. Fifth nakshatra is Mrigashira. It starts at 23 degrees 20 minutes in Taurus and ends at 6 degrees 40 minutes in Gemini. Mars is the ruler of Mrigashira. The sixth nakshatra is Ardra. It starts at 6 degrees 40 minutes in Gemini and ends at 20 degrees in Gemini. The nakshatra is ruled by Rahu. The seventh nakshatra is Punarvasu. It starts at 20 degrees in Gemini and ends at 3 degrees 20 minutes in Cancer. Jupiter is the ruling planet of nakshatra Punarvasu. The eighth nakshatra is Pushya. It starts at 3 degrees 20 minutes in Cancer and ends at 16 degrees 40 minutes in Cancer. Saturn rules Pushya. The ninth nakshatra is Ashlesha. It starts at 16 degrees 40 minutes in Cancer and ends at 30 degrees in Cancer. Mercury is the lord of the Ashlesha nakshatra. So in this slide, I have just given the names of the first 9 nakshatras, so it will be easier for you to memorize the names as well as the degrees and as well as the planets ruling each of these nakshatras. We have learned in the previous session that the length of each nakshatra in the zodiac is 13 degrees 20 minutes. And each nakshatra is further divided into 4 parts or pada, and each pada is of 3 degrees 20 minutes. So if we notice here, the first nakshatra Ashwini, it starts at 0 degrees Aries and ends at 13 degrees 20 minutes. It means that all the 4 padas or 4 parts of this nakshatra lies in the sign of Aries. Aries also contains 4 padas or 4 parts of Bharani nakshatra in its sign. And Aries contains only 1 part or 1 pada of Kritika nakshatra, while the rest of the 3 padas are in the sign of Taurus. So from this 3 nakshatras, we can identify that one Rashi consists of around 9 padas. That is around 2 1/4 nakshatra. We will learn about this in future videos, so it's just a mention here about these conditions. Now we'll touch the next pillar of Jyotish, that is the rashis or the zodiac signs. In this slide, we will learn about the name of the first 6 rashis, their ruling planets, and their start and end degrees. So the first Rashi, as we all know, is Aries in English or Mesha in Sanskrit. It is denoted as AR in symbol. The ruling planet is Mars. So Mars controls Aries. And the length of that Rashi is from 0 degrees to 30 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. The second Rashi or second zodiac sign is Taurus or Vrishabha. Venus is the lord of Taurus. It starts at 30 degrees and ends at 60 degrees in the zodiac. The third Rashi is Gemini or Mithun. Mercury is a lord of Gemini. It starts at 60 degrees and ends at 90 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. The fourth sign is Cancer or Karka in Sanskrit. Moon is the ruler of Cancer. It starts at 90 degrees and ends at 120 degrees. Excuse me. The fifth sign is Leo or Simha in Sanskrit. Sun is the ruler of Leo. It starts at 120 degrees and ends at 150 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. The sixth zodiac sign is Virgo or Kanya in Sanskrit. Mercury rules Virgo. It starts at 150 degrees and ends at 180 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. So the Rashi Chakra is made up of 360 degrees, and the first 6 signs cover almost 180 degrees. The next 6 signs we will learn in the next session. So it will be easier for you to memorize just the first 6 Rashis and first 9 Nakshatras, along with their ruling planets and along with their degrees. In this slide, we will touch upon the third pillar of Jyotish, that is Graha or planets. We all know that these planets influence our lives. These planets also deliver to us the results in their respective planetary periods. To understand all this, we have to study what distinguishes them from one another in terms of their uniqueness, in terms of their inherent nature, in terms of their behavior, in what they govern, and what authority they command in the planetary cabinet and also in our birth chart. This shloka from Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, chapter 3, shlok 12, states Tatrarka Shani Bhuputraha Kshinendu Rahu Ketavaha Kruraha Sheshagraha Saumyaha Krurayuto Buddha. So, Tatrarka, that is Arka, is the sun. Shani is Saturn. Bhuputra is Mars. Kshinendu, Kshina means waning, that is becoming smaller. Indu is another name for moon. Rahu is a north node and Ketu is the south node. So Maharshi Parashara says that Sun, Saturn, Mars, waning moon, Rahu and Ketu, they are Krura Graha. Krura is inauspicious or Ashubha or naturally malefic planets. Shesha Graha Saumyaha, the remaining planets, that is Jupiter, Venus, waxing moon, that means the moon which is closer to the Purnima or the full moon day, and well associated Mercury. These are the auspicious or Shubha or benefic planets in the solar system. Maharshi Parashara mentions one condition about Buddha, that is Mercury. Krura Yuto Buddha. Maharshi Parashara says that if Mercury is associated with Ashubha or inauspicious planets, it becomes afflicted or it starts giving bad results. Krura Yuto is having association with the bad planets or inauspicious planets. So Mercury in everybody's birth chart must be judged with the association it holds. This next shloka from Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra, chapter 3, shlok 13 and 14, it tells us about what all these planets govern in the birth chart. Let's take them one by one. Parashara Uvacha Sarvatma cha divanatho mana kumuda bandhavaha Satvam kujo budhai prokto budho vani pradayakaha. Maharshi Parashara says, Divanath is another name for Lord Sun. So Sun is Sarvatma, that is the soul. So in everyone's birth chart, Sun represents the soul of that native. Mana Kumuda Bandhavaha. Mana is mind. Kumuda Bandhava is another name for moon. So moon rules the mind. Sattvam Kujo. Kujo is another name for Mars. Mars governs the strength in everyone's birth chart. Budhai Prokto Budho Vani Pradayakaha. Mercury controls the speech in the birth chart of the native. In this shloka, shloka number 14, Maharshi Parashara states, Devejo Jnana Sukhado Bhrugu Virya Pradayakaha Rushibhi Praktanai Prokta Chaya Sunashchu Dukkhadaha. So in shlok 14, Parashara Rishi says, Devejo is Jupiter. Jupiter governs Jnana, that is knowledge, Sukha, that is happiness. So Jupiter controls knowledge and happiness in everybody's birth chart. Bhrugu is another name for Venus. Venus, it controls the potency in everyone's birth chart. Sorrow and grief or misery is governed by Saturn. So Maharshi Parashara in these two shlokas have given what each planet controls in everyone's birth chart. The next shloka from the same chapter, chapter number 3, shloka number 15 and 16. In these two shlokas, Maharshi Parashara gives us what authority the planets command in their cabinets. Let's go one by one. Ravi Chandro tu Rajano Neta Neyo Dharatmajah Budho Rajakumarascha Sachivau Guru Bhargavau. So in this shloka, Ravi is another name for sun. Chandra is another name for moon. In Sanskrit, we have various different names given to one planet. Now on this slide itself, we learned that sun is also called Arka or Divanatha or Ravi in Sanskrit. Moon is called Indu, Kumuda Bandhava or Chandra. So Ravi and Chandra, that is sun and moon, are the kings in the planetary cabinet. Neta Dneyo Dharatmajaha. Dharani is earth. Atmaja is sibling. So the sibling of the earth, that is Mars, is the Neta, that is the army chief. So Mars is having a command of the army chief in the planetary cabinet. Budho Rajakumarascha. Budho is Mercury. Mercury is like a prince. Sachivau Guru Bhargavau. Guru, that is Jupiter, and Bhargava is another name for Venus. So Jupiter and Venus, they are the ministers in the planetary cabinet. In shloka number 16, Maharshi Parashara says, Preshako Ravi Putrascha Sena Swabhanur Pushchakau. Evam Kramena Vai Vipra Suryadina Pravichintaye. So Vipra is Maitreya. So Maharshi Parashara says, Preshako Raviputrascha. Saturn is the son of the Lord Sun. So Saturn is like a servant in the planetary cabinet, while Rahu and Ketu, they represent the army. So on this slide, I have written in a tabular form all the meanings from the previous slide. So in this, we have the planet in the first column, their inherent nature, that is whether they are auspicious or inauspicious. So Sun, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars, and waning moon are all inauspicious, whereas waxing moon, Jupiter, Venus are auspicious planets. I have written Mercury as both an asteroid did because it depends on the association of Mercury, as I've explained in the previous slide. Here, what each planet governs has been written down, and also the planetary cabinet, role in the planetary cabinet. In the last slide, we will know about what each group of different houses represent in our birth chart. Here are some 4 shlokas from Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, chapter 8, shloka 33 to 36. In the previous session, we had a brief description of what a birth chart looks like. This is a North Indian style of birth chart. The first house is the very important house in everybody's birth chart. So let's go to the shlokas one by one and understand what the different groups of houses represent in everybody's chart. Athanyadapi vakshayami maitrak shruno suvrata. So Maharshi Parashara says, Maitreya, I'm going to tell you about the bhava or houses in the birth chart. Please listen. Shrunu is listen. Suvrata, please. Lagna turyasta viyatam kendra saudnya visheshatah. Dvipancharandhalabhanam neyam panafarabhidham. So Maharshi Parashara says, Lagna, that is the first house. Turya is the fourth house. Staviyatam is seventh and 10th house. These four houses, that is 1, 4, 7, 10. These are called the Kendras or the quadrants in English. These are the most important houses in anybody's birth chart. These are also called as Vishnu Sthanas, after the Lord Vishnu, who controls our daily sustenance and daily activities. So these Kendra houses 1, 4, 7, 10 controls our sustenance and our daily activities. So a natural benefic planet like Jupiter, Venus, or a waxing moon, if they are present in any of these houses, they give a lot of strength to that birth chart. We will learn about this in future videos. The next line or next verse says, Dvipancharandhalabhanam neyam panafarabhidam. Maharshi Parashara says, Dvi is number 2, second house or second bhava. Pancha is the 5th bhava. Randha is the 8th bhava. And Labha is the 11th bhava. So 2, 5, 8, and 11, these houses or bhava are called panafaras in Sanskrit or succeedent in English. The next shloka, Trishatha bhagya rishpanam apoklimamiti dvija Lagnat panchama bhagasya kona saudnya vidhiyate. So 3 is the 3rd house, Shat is the 6th house, Bhagya is the 9th house, and Rishva is the 12th house. So 3, 6, 9, and 12. These houses or group of houses are called as apoklima in Sanskrit or cadence in English. He goes on to say, Lagnat panchama bhagasya kona saudnya vidhiyate. Lagna is the first one, Pancham is the 5th house, and Bhagya is the 9th house. So 1, 5, and 9, these are called as Trikona or trines. So the green colored boxes or houses are the most auspicious houses in everybody's birth chart. These Trikona, that is 1, 5, and 9, are called as Lakshmi Sthana, after the goddess Lakshmi. So the Lakshmi Sthana along with the Vishnu Sthana, they determine the health, the wealth, the status, the dignity, the rise, and the virtue of a native. So if you have good planets placed in these houses, they give tremendous strength to the birth chart. Now, in this case, Lagna or the first house is both a Kendra and a Trikona. So it is the most important house in everybody's birth chart. And Lagna is nobody else than the native himself. It is him as a person or him or her as a person. So this house is the most significant house in everybody's birth chart. The next shloka says, the next verse says, Shashtashta Vyaya Bhavanam Du Saudnyastrika Saudnyakaha. Shashtashta, that is sixth house. Shashta, Ashta is the eighth house, and Vyaya is the 12th house. So 6, 8, and 12, these are called as Trika or Duhsthana. These three houses, they show the debts or obstacles in the birth chart. These houses also indicate disease, loss, or misery. So these are considered the bad houses, and hence they are shown in the red boxes. The last shloka says, Chaturastram Turyarandham Kathayanti Dvajottama Swasthad Upachaya Rakshani Trishadayam Baranihi. So the fourth Chatura and Randa is the eighth house. So fourth and eighth house are called Chaturastras. And the Upachayas are the third house, the sixth house, the 10th house, and the 11th house. These are the growth houses in everybody's chart. So the health of the chart, or what is the promise of the chart, this is governed by the presence of the planets in these green boxes. If there are more planets in these green boxes, the birth chart has tremendous potential. If there are more planets in the red boxes, the birth chart has a lot of obstacles in that person's life. The birth chart shows that. If there are planets in these yellow houses, it shows that the native will have prosperity as the age proceeds. So I feel that this information is enough for today. In the next session, I will continue with the new inputs. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel among your friends who are curious to learn this great science thoroughly and systematically.